When many people talk about their past relationships, they describe them as being completely crap, completely trash. And I find it hard to believe because you couldn't have stayed in them for years without them being good, at least to a major extent. What were you, a masochist? That you just enjoyed staying in misery for years and years and years? Where if we would acknowledge the probably banal realism that she was great the first few weeks, it settled into banality because you probably weren't compatible and you didn't really acknowledge what you're looking for. It was just two people who found someone they could tolerate, didn't really know what they wanted, and they stayed with boring long enough before they realized this bucket's empty. There was nothing in it. They want there to be more than what it is, and then they finally get to the point of where it's like, you know what, there's nothing here. I'm wasting my time. I'm bored. I am figuratively yawning and falling asleep in this relationship. But the way people talk about their past relationships sometimes is like it was awful from start to finish. And I have to wonder why you would stay in something like that. What I'm saying is, I think it's much more beneficial that we learn from our past, realistic past, acknowledging that if I was with someone for 2 years or however long, if 80% of it was good, or at least comfortable, and realistically only 20% started to go downhill and the last 5% was complete hell, acknowledge that. Rather than being like so many women and guys like, nah, my ex was complete garbage, and getting the attention through victimhood like, oh, look how much I was abused. I was with a complete train wreck. Let me tell you about my disaster. So I think it behooves us to, listen to me, behooves. I think it helps us more to admit that we had good times, we had bad. And the bridge between the two can really help us in the future. Can really help us to kind of let go of that hating, not for them, for us, so our lives are lighter. You know, with this bitterness we hold on to, like we're the best and the world isn't perfect. Why can't the world change? Why can't women change? I don't need to change. I'm perfect, just waiting for someone to realize how perfect I am. Let's be realistic to kind of acknowledge the great at the start, the fire, the hormonal excitement, and then the banality of what doesn't work for you, the incompatibility, and then towards the realistically, I was just annoyed with her and I was looking for a way out, and I wanted to spend more time away from her, and we looked for petty fights to see who would be the first one to say, F this, I'm out. If we're too binary, I think we look for complete safety. And if we can admit when times were good, when they went bad, and recognizing when, I think that serves us better in avoiding pitfalls in the future, rather than we look for complete safety because we cast our exes and our past relationships as completely trash, worthy of throwing away, avoiding that mess. It's embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it. Well, why not? I think it's much more edifying to talk about it, learn something, and it gives you confidence going forward because you know that puzzle. But if we continue to avoid the puzzle of what is learnt, the good and the bad, we are bound to repeat the same mistakes, or we avoid them altogether, as a lot of guys do. But if we are realistic enough to say, look, it was okay or good, I learnt this, but we don't need to make them a villain to rejuvenate ourselves, to light the fire underneath our arms. Let me put it to you this way. If somebody could guarantee you a relationship that was 80% fantastic and perfect and you'd love it, and 20% would be an unknown, and that unknown may be just boring, or you find out you're not compatible, or you go your own ways, a disappointing neutrality in effect, or it could be really horrific. Would you take 80% of a good relationship, but you have to eat the misery and the breakup of that 20%? I would. And that's the same way I look at my past relationships. I fully admit that though I had bad times and I learnt a lot, I don't hate my exes. I had great times for most of the relationship until, when things caused you to part ways. I think it's much more to our benefit to acknowledge the realism of it was 80% good, 15% tolerable, and 5% just trash. Let me get out of here. I understand guys who have their worlds flipped upside down, where she leaves you or cheats or takes your kids and your life is completely destroyed. But I have a problem with these people that say, oh no, they were completely good and I was an angel. They were a villain and I was a saint. I don't buy it. And it's a way of avoiding the reality of what you might have learned from that situation, where you can go into the next one and be that much of a better person. I've been on enough dates where I get to talk to her and she says her ex was completely trash and she was a complete angel. But the more you see it, it's kind of like they were just incompatible. She didn't know what she wanted. She just wanted a guy to give her the fairy tale. She didn't have a clue of what she wanted to give him. More than likely, she refused to give anything. But we like to cast the other person as a villain to absolve ourselves of any wrongdoing, and also to sell ourselves well. Like, it doesn't sound good when you say, yeah, I did this bad, I did that bad. I know certainly myself, when I hear someone say, I wasn't the best, I did this bad, but I learnt, and I've been better thus far, and I can prove it by the way I've been interacting with my friends in my life, and I haven't been going out with these people anymore, I've chosen better. Or I realized what I wouldn't tolerate anymore, what kind of girl I really need, what kind of compatibility I really need. I think that's much more constructive for us going forward, rather than wasting our lives saying all women or all men are bad, all relationships are bad, and having absolutely no standards by which we actually choose people. Flicking through Netflix, giving everything 5 minutes, and then saying every movie shit. Is that what we're doing with our relationships? We're just wasting so much time. Enough of the binary complete bad and you're complete good. It gets us nowhere. Newsflash, you're not perfect, neither were they. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Like, subscribe, support the channel, and I'll talk to you later, guys. Catch you later, bye. And say, I guarantee that